You're going to have to remove these windows. You know that, right? The voice, sharp as broken glass, cut through the quiet hum of my newly renovated office. I turned from my desk to face a woman I'd never seen before, a vision in an ill-fitting beige pantsuit. Her perfectly coiffed blonde hair pulled so tight it looked painful. What in the world was she even talking about? Who was this person? The late afternoon sun streamed through the very floor-to-ceiling windows she was scowling at, illuminating the specks of dust dancing in the golden light. Her name, I would soon learn, was Linda, and she was the self-proclaimed Grand Poobah of the HOA's Architectural Review Committee. Oh, for crying out loud. I just finished pouring my heart and soul, not to mention a small fortune, into this space, and here she was, less than a week after I moved in, demanding I tear out the very feature that made it feel like home. What, was I supposed to just work in a dark cave? Excuse me? I asked, my voice laced with disbelief. Are you with the building management? Because I have all my permits, and the windows were a part of the approved renovation plan. Her laugh was a short, humorless puff of air. Approved by who? The previous owner? They're no longer a concern. As of this morning, I am the chair of the committee, and these windows are a direct violation of Section 7, Subsection C of our community's bylaws. She pulled a folder from her designer handbag and waved it in my face, the scent of her overpowering perfume filling the air. My stomach churned. The irony wasn't lost on me. Just this morning, I had been admiring how the new glass reflected the vibrant, sprawling oak trees in the plaza outside, their leaves a deep, calming green. Now, a woman who looked like she'd been forged in a discount salon was claiming ownership of my view. She went on, her voice getting louder with each word. The windows aren't a uniform style. They disrupt the aesthetic flow of the plaza. We have to maintain standards, don't we? This isn't a free-for-all. Do you have any idea how much work goes into preserving our property values? I sighed, trying to keep my frustration in check. Look, Linda, I started, using her name to see if it would de-escalate the situation, but it only seemed to make her more furious. I am not in violation of anything. The original plan for this building was to have these windows, and my contractors simply restored them to their intended design. I even spoke with the previous head of the committee, a wonderful man named Richard, by the way, and he approved every detail. Why on earth would I need to rip them out? Her smirk was so wide it looked like it might split her face. Richard? Oh, honey, Richard retired. That's why I'm here. He was too soft on people like you who think they can just waltz in and do whatever they want. The bylaws are very clear. Either you rip them out in the next 30 days, or we will start levying daily fines until you do. A bitter taste filled my mouth. Daily fines? Was she serious? My brain raced. I had worked so hard to get here. This little business, this little office, was my dream, and she was going to tear it down over a technicality that didn't even make sense. I could feel the heat rising in my cheeks. But then, a cool wave of calm washed over me. I sat down in my chair, leaned back, and just stared at her, my hands folded calmly over my lap. The silence stretched between us, a heavy, palpable thing. She mistook my quiet for defeat. Well, what are you waiting for? Get on the phone with your contractor. The clock is ticking. I slowly, deliberately, reached for my laptop and typed a few quick keystrokes. I swiveled the screen around to face her. Do you see this? I asked, my voice a low, steady rumble. On the screen was a PDF document with the official letterhead of the plaza's corporate headquarters. Linda squinted. Then her eyes widened slightly. I saw her jaw tighten as she read the first few lines. I slowly scrolled down to the signature at the bottom. The signature of the CEO. My name. The silence returned. But this time, it was different. It wasn't heavy with her arrogance. It was a stunned, gaping void. I watched as her smug smirk completely evaporated, replaced by a look of sheer, Unadulterated horror. She wasn't just frozen. She was petrified. "I'm not on the Homeowners Association committee," I said softly, my words landing like a physical blow. "I am the Homeowners Association. Well, technically, I own the entire building. The windows you're so worried about? They're mine. The lobby you walk through? Mine. The parking lot where you left your car? Also mine." A tremor went through her. Her folder slipped from her grasp and hit the floor with a soft thud. I continued, my voice gaining strength. "That aesthetic flow you're so concerned about? My personal design team approved it months ago, which is why your architectural committee doesn't even exist in the bylaws anymore. It was dissolved last quarter." Her face was a masterclass in silent humiliation, a slow-motion car crash of emotion. "You can tell all your neighbors to stop worrying about my windows and start worrying about how to pay their rent next month. And about that daily fine you threatened me with? Let's talk about the unauthorized solicitations I've been seeing you make to my tenants." Linda. The air was thick with the scent of her defeat. I watched her, standing there in the middle of my office, a living monument to her own spectacular failure. She had come in with all the confidence of a hurricane, ready to destroy my little world, but she had just crashed into a mountain. It was a beautiful thing to witness, the precise moment her universe of entitlement shattered into a million tiny pieces. I realized then that justice wasn't always a grand, sweeping act. Sometimes, it was just a quiet, simple moment of showing the Karen the paper trail that proved she was nothing more than a small voice in a very big building she didn't own. She mumbled something, pathetic, strangled sound, before turning and scrambling out of my office, her dignity left scattered on my plush office carpet. It was a good feeling. A really, really good feeling. A silent lesson learned. The loudest people are often the most empty. And sometimes, all you need to win is the title deed to the building. And a smile. I looked out the window at the setting sun, the golden light painting the trees. The view had never looked better.